everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. A couple of little disclaimers before we start. First of all, I have a horrid cold. Well, is it cold? I'm not really sure, to be honest. I just have a sore throat, so my voice sounds a little bit funny. And also, just another pointer, my camera quality might be a little bit worse today. I don't really know, it looks fine at the moment, but sometimes when I edit the video it just goes weird. And also, half my hair is curly, half my hair is straight. I don't know why that's happened. That happened the other day as well, but we shall move on. It's not too bad. Okay, anyway, I'll just get started with the video. So today's video is going to be a book haul, which is really exciting. I don't really know if I've done a book haul on my channel before. I have been on kind of like an informal book buying ban for the longest time, just because I have so many books to get through, both on my Kindle and both in my bookshelf as well. But I just felt a little bit crazy and I decided to buy some books. Also, I have just found one of my cat's whiskers. How cute is that? So my drinks for today's video, I'm going to try and make that like a little feature. They're not that exciting today, but sometimes plain is nice. So my first drink is just a plain old boring glass of water. I can't believe I'm making this a thing. And then my next is a cup of tea in my mug, which I absolutely love. It says Pops on it, which is my name. And I've got a cup of tea. It's Yorkshire tea, but it's the biscuit tea, which if you have not tried, I would recommend. It's not as nice as a good old cup of Yorkshire tea, but it is very nice. Anyway, I hope this video turns out fine. I'm very concerned about the quality. It looks fine as I'm like looking at myself here, but I don't have my glasses on, so I don't really know. But yeah, hopefully we can just move past that. So I went on a big kind of book shopping spree. I think I bought over 10 books, which I definitely don't need. We went to a lovely little bookshop in Alnwick, which is kind of north of Newcastle. And it's such a nice bookshop. We used to go every so often when we were kids. It's called Barter Books. I think I've actually been and like put it on my channel before, but it's really nice. It's really cute. It's like a huge secondhand bookshop. It's a little bit overwhelming, I can't lie. There are just so many books in there, and like it's hard to know where to even start. Alas, I obviously managed because I picked up some books, and I also bought a load of books on my Kindle. Now, I absolutely love my Kindle, and if you don't have a Kindle, or even if you do have a Kindle but you don't know about this, there is a really great thing. Sorry to interrupt. That light is really shining in my face. Oh, that sun is so bright. Why is it doing that? Where does that come from? I can't see a thing. Okay, that's a bit better, but my face is gonna be like stripy for the meantime. God's sake. Anyway, so if you don't know, on Kindle there is this thing where loads and loads of Kindle books on Amazon are reduced to 99p, which is such a steal. It's so exciting. Obviously there's like loads and loads of books that you just won't be interested in, but there's also, of course, loads of really good books which are reduced to 99p. So I do like to try and make the most of that every month. I don't want to just buy books unnecessarily when I've already got loads that I haven't read yet. But if there are some books which look really good and they've been reduced, you might as well buy them. Okay, so I'll just get started. I will go through my Kindle books first. These should be 99p still for the rest of the month of February. I think most of them were the 99p ones. I think there might be one or two which were just full price Kindle books. So the first Kindle book that I bought is called All the Little Raindrops by Mia Sheridan. This one was a 99p book, so it's got 390 pages. It's got an average rating of 4.08 stars out of 5. It's classed as a dark thriller. Now this one I'm quite excited to read. Mia Sheridan has got a few other books which are quite popular. I've not read any of them, but I have heard good things. So basically the plot of this book, I think it's a little bit darker than it maybe seems by the cover. A little bit darker than I expected. I did read the reviews after I bought it, of course. Sorry, I'm reading notes off my laptop, which is why I keep looking down. But basically this is the story of two teenagers that get abducted. It's the story of their escape and the dark secrets that bring them back to the scene of their crime years later. So that in itself sounds like a good plot to me, but it goes on to describe that they discover that the crime that they experienced may be ongoing. So the abduction that they experienced, kind of, the abductor, I think I get the kind of vibes that the abductor wasn't caught. So I think basically the abductor is still abducting. I'm sick of saying that word now. So basically they work together to close their case that happened years ago and to solve the ones that have followed since. So it's described as a dark thriller. I think it'll be exciting. I love a good kind of like crime thriller. I love like a good like getting to the bottom of a mystery and people taking solving crimes into their own hands. Okay, so the next Kindle book I bought is one called Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. I don't really know. I've heard so many things about this book. Well, that's the thing actually, I haven't really heard any things about this book. I had no idea what this book was about, but I just had seen it on so many recommendation videos. So this book was one of the 99 Kindle ones. It's 352 pages, so just kind of like an average length. It's rated 4.15 stars out of 5 on GoodReads, so quite a high rating, and it's classed as a suspense thriller. And I do love a thriller, but I think I prefer kind of like crime ones over like really suspenseful ones because they make me feel a bit anxious. But I'm sure it'll be good anyway. So the plot for this one is described as the following. So a woman and her daughter go missing, but 11 years later, the daughter returns to the town that she went missing from. So everyone wants to know what happened, but no one is prepared for the shocking answers. Now, that sounds very juicy to me. I have read the reviews and apparently the twists are very good. I absolutely love a book with a twist in it. I don't think you can get any better in a book. So yeah, not too much more to say on that one, but I am excited to read it. When I will get around to reading it, I do not know, but it is on my TBR. Oh, okay, so the next one, this sounds interesting. I'd never heard of this one before, but I think it sounds really good. So it's called Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanagh, I think. This was, again, one of the 99 Kindle books. It's 352 pages, so exact same amount of pages as the last book. And it's got 4.37 stars out of 5 on GoodReads. So again, a very high rating. This one is a psychological thriller, which I love. I love a good thriller. And the plot is the following. So one evening, two strangers meet in a bar and they make a pact with each other. These two women both realise that they have a lot in common, including an intense desire for revenge against the men who ruin their lives. Now, I'm not sure if these men are their husbands or other men in their life. It didn't specify on the blurb of these books. Either way, I think it'll be very interesting. So these two women come up with the perfect plan. Kill for me, kill for you. So one woman is going to kill the other man for the other woman and vice versa. So in the description and reviews of this book, it is said to be for fans of The Silent Patient and Gone Girl. I haven't read Gone Girl. I've watched the film and I didn't really enjoy it, to be fair, but I have read The Silent Patient and I think, if I remember correctly, that was one of my 5-star reads of last year. I love that book. So if it's anything like that, I'm sure I will love this one as well. It's got good reviews. I haven't heard tons about it, but the reviews sound juicy. The next book I bought on Kindle is called The Happy Couple, and I cannot pronounce this woman's name. Bear with me.
Irish name pronunciation, Nisha.
Nisha, very nice name. Okay, so the next book I bought is The Happy Couple by Nisha Dolan. Now, I love Nisha Dolan's books. Exciting Times was one of the best books I have read for a long time. I love her style of writing. She gives me very much Sally Rooney vibes, but a little bit less dull. I don't mean that in a mean way. I absolutely love Sally Rooney, but sometimes some of her books, like Beautiful World, Where Are You? I just could not get through that. That was boring. Anyway, so this book is called The Happy Couple. It was one of the 99 Kindle books. It's got 240 pages, so a bit of a shorter book. It's got 3.45 stars average rating on GoodReads, so that is a bit lower. However, it didn't put me off because like I said, I do really like her books. I like her style of writing, and I feel like authors like Sally Rooney and Nisha Dolan, they have this style of writing which is a little bit monotonous, and I quite enjoy it, but a lot of people don't like it, so I understand why the average rating's a bit lower. It doesn't really concern me. Anyway, I have actually started reading this book. I'm about 70 or so pages in, and I'm probably going to finish it today. I am really enjoying it. I don't love it, but it's nice. Like, it's a good book so far. I haven't really gotten to the juicy stuff, but I think I'm just about to. So anyway, this book is about a couple heading to their own wedding. They're engaged, and it tells their story, but also the story of 3 of their friends. And each 3 of these friends have the potential to draw the couple apart. Now, I don't really know how at this point. It hasn't really gotten into that yet in the book. But it basically tells the story of all 5 of these people's lives intersecting as the wedding approaches, and it questions whether the happy ever after lies at the end of the aisle for the couple. So basically it's questioning, is marriage the right option for this couple? Now, from what I've read so far, no. But I don't know. I don't really know. I'll have to get into it. I think it's kind of like a modern, juicy romance, which I don't know if it'll end with a happy ending or not. But yeah, keep an eye out for my end of February book review, because hopefully if I get it finished, that should be in it. The next book I bought on Kindle is called Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Taylor Jenkins Reid has a lot of very popular books out, such as I think The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and, what's it called? Oh, Daisy Jones and the Sixth. Now, I haven't read either of those 2 books, but I have read 2 other books by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I really enjoyed them. I don't know why I've not read her most popular books yet. So I've read Carrie Soto Is Back. That was incredible. It was so good. That was one of my 5-star reads of 2023. And then I've read a short book from her. What was it called? It was very short. I'm sure it was like less than 100 pages. It's called Evidence of the Affair, and that was really good as well. So yeah, I enjoyed both of those books, so I decided to buy this one. I thought, why not? It's only 99p, I might as well. So this one has 349 pages, so again, very average length. It's only got a 3.8 average rating out of 5, so a little bit lower, but still I think that's almost 4 out of 5 stars, so not too bad. And this one is a romance novel. So the description is: a woman who has no idea what she wants to do with her life finds herself moving back to her hometown of LA. One night she's in a bar with her best friend and she meets up with her high school boyfriend. So just after midnight, her best friend asks her if she's ready to go home. But a moment later, her high school boyfriend asks her if she would like to stay out with him. So I think this is going to be really interesting. The novel tells the story of basically the 2 different possible stories, the 2 different possible outcomes of this night. It tells the story of like the 2 different possible lives that this woman could have lived side by side. This novel that tells the 2 alternative realities questions the existence of fate and love, and if anything is ever meant to be. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty juicy to me. I love a book that plays around with the structure a little bit. And from what I've seen so far, Taylor Jenkins Reid does this quite well. I don't know if this is something that she features in many of her books, but in the short story I read from her called Evidence of the Affair, it was called, oh my god, I want to say it's called an epistolary. I'm going to Google that. But basically it was written in the form of letters, and I just think that that is juicy. If I've got this term right, that's going to be insane. I have, no way. It's called, well, I pronounced it wrong, an epistolary. I don't know how you pronounce that. Oh my god, A-level English lit has done me well. So yeah, basically it's written in the form of letters. I don't think this book is, but it's just like a little bit of a different structure. That shall be interesting. The next book I bought is called The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. So I have seen a few different books be recommended by Riley Sager, but I've never read anything from her, and I've never really known the plots of her books. I kind of thought they were romance. But alas, I am wrong. So this book was another 99p Kindle book. It's got 369 pages, so again, a pretty average length. It's got 3.6 stars on average out of 5, so a little bit lower. And it's classed as a mystery thriller. So the plot doesn't seem kind of like crazy far off from other books I've read before. It's very much like a Rear Window film situation, a bit like Girl on the Train, where it's kind of like someone's observing something from afar and they witness something which is not very good, and then they get like a little bit too involved in the situation. I think this is kind of the vibes I get from this book. So what I've written for the description of the book is the following. So A recently widowed actress has escaped to her family's lake house, must be nice, for a bit of peace and quiet. With her binoculars and bottles of liquor, she passes the time by watching her neighbours, including the glamorous couple that live in the house across the lake. However, the more she watches, the more she sees that this couple's marriage is not all as it seems. Always love that trope in a book. So, when the wife suddenly disappears, the widow is obsessed with finding out what happened. During this process, she uncovers lots of eerie, dark truths with lots of twists along the way. Now that sounds very juicy, sounds like a nice, entertaining, enjoyable read. So I am excited to read that, and I think I might read that soon-ish. I don't think I will push that back too far on my TBR. Okay, so the next book, I was so pleased that this was on the 99p Kindle deals because I was going to buy this anyway. So it's called Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, and this is the second book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. And as I was saying earlier, I read that book at the beginning of February and loved it, and so many people say that this book, the second book, is way better. And I already rated the first one as 5 stars, so I'm looking forward to this one. I don't want to read it just yet because I don't want to have 2 of the same books in my February recap, but I do think I will read this soon. So this was a 99p Kindle book. It's 417 pages, so a little bit longer, but these books are so juicy and entertaining that it doesn't really feel longer. It's got an average rating of 4.31 stars out of 5, and it's classed as a young adult mystery thriller. And I can't remember if I've said this before, if I've written it down to talk about in my February book review, but I love a YA novel. Honestly, like, I love a good, easy read, and there's no shame in that. So this book, as I've already explained, is a sequel from the Good Girl's Guide to Murder book. So because it's a sequel, here's a bit of background. So the main character, called Pip, she is a British teenager, and she decided in the first book to do a school project on a local murder in order to prove the innocence of the assumed murderer. And in turn, she uncovers lots of secrets. It's very good. In this new book, Pip is no longer a detective, but she has now released a true crime podcast about the case that they previously solved. She vows not to be a detective again, yet she has to break this promise when someone she knows goes missing. The police won't do anything about it, and if they won't look for him, then Pip will. Now, I know I'm going to love this book. I cannot wait to read it. Keep an eye out on my channel to see my review when I do read it. And then the next and final book I bought on my Kindle, this one wasn't a 99p Kindle book. This was £5.49, which I feel like in comparison to the 99p book seems so expensive, but you're paying a £5 for a book, like, it's not that much. Anyway, I was just really in the mood to read something like this. So it is Heartless by Elsie Silver. So I have read the first book in this series. So this book is part of a series called Chestnut Springs, I think. And I've read the first book called Flawless, and it was so good. It was like a cowboy romance, and it's just like, it's a really good book, but it's just like a nice, happy kind of romance, like easy to read, like it's a little bit spicy, it's entertaining, and I just really enjoyed it. But I read that quite a while ago, and I've wanted to continue the series for ages, and I've just really been in the mood to read it. So I decided to buy this book. I think I might read this book next after the one that I'm currently reading. But yeah, these books are rated so highly on TikTok. This book has got an average rating of 4.39 stars out of 5 on GoodReads, so quite high. It's quite a bigger book. It's 476 pages, so it's not obviously like huge, it's not like a massive novel, but quite a bit bigger than like the average 350 pages. And the category I've written this down as is a spicy cowboy romance. So this is a story about a girl who is a nanny for a grumpy single dad. However, they both have eyes for each other. To be honest, I couldn't really find very much information on this book in terms of plot, other than the following kind of like tropes. So it's an age gap, single dad, grumpy sunshine, small town cowboy romance. So take from that what you will. As I've already explained, it's the second book in the Elsie Silver's Chestnut Springs series. So I don't think all the men in each book are brothers, but I think the main male character in this book and the main male character in the first book are brothers, but I don't think that's the same like throughout the series. Okay, actually, upon reflection, I've just realised that I only rated the first book a 3 out of 5 stars, so maybe I'm remembering things incorrectly, but I did enjoy it, so I'm excited to read this one. But yeah, they're rated really highly on TikTok. I always see loads about this series on TikTok, and I think I've spoken to a friend who's read the books as well, and she really enjoyed them, so hopefully I do as well. Okay, now on to the physical books. So these are all the books that I bought from the secondhand bookshop. The prices are a bit odd. Now, they're still very cheap. I think, especially compared to other countries, I think in England we are very lucky books are not too expensive. However, I do feel like as a collective whole, people in England would expect to buy a secondhand book for like £1 or £2 maybe, like very, very cheap. I think we're used to charity shop prices. However, this bookshop wasn't crazy cheap. Now, I did tend to go for the cheaper ones, so these books won't seem too expensive. However, a lot of the books were maybe like only £1 or £2 cheaper than if you were to buy it brand new from Amazon. Obviously, it's important to support independent bookshops. That's just something I wanted to put out there. But yeah, the ones that I bought were kind of on the cheap side anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so the first book I bought was called Never Saw Me Coming by Vera Kurian. I'm gonna say Vera Kurian. So I think this cover's cute. I think it's nice. So this book was only £2.80, so maybe I am exaggerating slightly because £2.80 is very cheap still for a book. It's got 389 pages. On GoodReads, it's got an average rating of 3.63 stars out of 5, so kind of like a mid-range book, and it's classed as a mystery/crime thriller. This book sounds quite juicy and I'm really excited to read it. So it's a book about a normal college girl who has normal interests such as yoga, going to frat parties, and plotting to kill a childhood friend who previously wronged her. Basically, I think this is a story about a girl who seems normal, but she's a little bit crazy in the head. But it goes even juicier than that. So she and 6 other students take part in a study in her college for psychopaths. But when one of these students ends up murdered, the girl, who is a psychopath, goes from hunter to prey as she races to identify the killer. It's basically a story of like the hunter gets hunted. Someone is outsmarting the psychopath, and I think that would be really good. Okay, so the next physical book I bought is the only non-fiction book I believe I've bought in this haul. So it is called Dishonesty is the Second Best Policy, and this is by David Mitchell. So David Mitchell is an actor and comedian. He's a British actor and comedian, and he's just really funny. I really enjoy his content. He does a lot of panel shows in the UK, and that is kind of like my favourite genre of comedian. I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more non-fiction into my reading bookshelf, and that doesn't always have to be very kind of like intellectual, informative books. It doesn't have to be self-help books, stuff like that. It can just be kind of like a funny little autobiography kind of thing. So I thought I would give this a try. It's not too long. It's only got 250 pages. This one cost me £5.60, which I feel like is a bit pricey for a second-hand book. I don't know, maybe I'm just being cheap. I feel like it would not be that much more than that on Amazon. But anyway, it's fine. So it's only 250 pages. It's got a 3.68 average rating out of 5. So again, mid-range, and it's classed as a comedy memoir. So this book is an eclectic book of David Mitchell's attempts to make light at all of the darkness in the world. It's described as witty, insightful, and enjoyable. Again, there's not too much written down in terms of a plot for this book, but I would imagine it's going to be sort of a funny, witty social commentary book. Yeah, that should just be hopefully an easy, enjoyable read. Hopefully it's not too unrelatable. Again, I feel like I'm not necessarily the target audience for that book. The same as how I felt with the Josh Widdicombe book, which I reviewed in my previous video. But I do really enjoy them as comedians, so hopefully I can take something out of it. Okay, this next book, I feel like this is kind of fulfilling some sort of like teenage childhood want in me, because I feel like I really wanted to read this book when I was younger. It's not even that old, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but it's called Beautiful Broken Things by Sarah Barnard. It's such a pretty cover. I remember seeing this book and this cover when I was younger, and I really wanted to read it. I don't know why I never did, but you can tell how nostalgic it is. Like, it's got the Zoella Book Club sticker on it as well. Yeah, I'm pleased to buy this. I think it's it's like a young adult book, which again, I don't want to fill all of my like reading with young adult books, because that's not challenging at all, and I feel like I'll get a bit bored. But I definitely think there's no harm in like reading some every so often. So Beautiful Broken Things, this is 322 pages. I paid £3.60 for this book, so not too bad. This has a average rating of 3.76 stars out of 5, and I've classed it as a young adult coming of age novel. So I think again it's going to be like a relatively easy read, quite entertaining. So this is the story of two 16-year-old girls who have been best friends forever. Then, as a mysterious new girl comes into their lives, one half of the best friend duo decides that getting into trouble can be a little bit fun. So it's kind of like a story of one of the girls going a bit astray, one of them like maybe being affected by bad influence. I don't really know if this will be too relatable to me because I'm not a 16-year-old girl, but I find that with books like this, they have kind of like a nice air of like nostalgia around them for me, and they really remind me of being a teenager, so I think that this will be a good book to read. And then the final book I bought is called Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Now, I don't think I've ever read a book by Lisa Jewell, but I have heard the best things. I feel like I just know I'm gonna love her books. I already have a few on my bookshelf and I haven't read them, but I want to read them soon. I just hear the best things about her books. She writes kind of like thrillers, I think, like mystery crime thrillers, so hopefully I will like this. So this is a little bit of a bigger book. It's 421 pages. I paid £2.80 for this book, so not too bad again. This one has an average rating of 4.06 stars out of 5, so quite high, and it's a crime/mystery thriller. So the description for this one is as follows. So Ellie was a golden girl and she had her whole life ahead of her. However, in the blink of an eye, she is gone. 10 years later, Ellie's mum has never given up hope in finding her. One day, she meets a charming stranger who sweeps her off her feet. But what really takes her breath away is when she meets his 9-year-old daughter. She is the spitting image of her missing daughter, Ellie. Now, all of those unanswered questions have come flooding back. This seems very juicy. I think basically by the sounds of it, this girl called Ellie has gone missing. Don't know what happens to her, but she's basically had a kid, and this kid is now in the hands of this man. I don't know if this man is a good person or not. I shall read the book and find out. I would imagine it's going to have lots of twists, lots of turns, but yeah, we shall see. Okay guys, so that is all of the books I bought in this big haul. I think I went a little bit overboard, but I didn't spend too much money, so that's always a good thing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm excited to read these. If you have read any of these, please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hopefully I will get around to reading all of these sooner rather than later, but who knows? I already have plenty already on my bookshelf, and I'm sure I will keep buying books even so I have loads to read already. So yeah, that's all for this video guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, of course, as always, give this video a thumbs up, leave a nice comment and subscribe, of course. Love you very much, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.